Well, hi everybody. This is Roger in Kansas City, and here we are on the globe Earth, and today we're going back to the Himalayan mountains. Let's go to the Himalayas. You know, if I had a space fleet, I would probably pick the Himalayas to hide my space fleet. They're very secluded, they're inaccessible, middle of nowhere, high altitude. Your average guy is not going to wander in on your space fleet. So I'm going to show you where we're looking today. Now here's the Himalayas, all through here. India's down here. Here's Nepal, Bhutan. This is Tibet, aka China. And we're going to be looking in this area right here. Now, I can't be too exact because every time I'm too exact, somebody from somewhere goes in with a big eraser and scrubs everything out. That has happened on my Falkland Islands videos, the Isla de los Estados video. They cleaned that one up. The Kaibab Indian Reservation, and that's just to name a few. So let's go ahead and take a look at a number of what I believe to be our space-faring vehicles. Here we go. This first picture may be familiar to some of you because I have already shown it in a video a few months ago titled Nephilim Giants Are Here on Earth Today. And I put it in towards the end of the video just to see if the powers that be would pick up on it and scrub out the area. Well, the area is still intact, which is good news, but I did not disclose the exact area, which seems to be working out so far. In that video, I said that this entire length was one ship, but after I have studied it more, it looks to me like there are three ships side by side. They're very long, about 200 feet in length and probably 50 feet in height. Let's go to our next picture. This photo shows just how well these ships can blend into the terrain of the area, especially a mountainous area. They are very well camouflaged and very organically shaped, and it makes perfect sense to do so. You know, a silver disc or giant triangle would significantly stand out in an area that is so natural looking. So you want to have a naturally shaped vessel, and that's a perfect example of one right there. And you can also see what appear to be some sort of little beings standing in front of this thing. There's one there. Okay, well anyway, next picture. This photo shows a ship here, a smaller ship here, and probably two ships, one in front of the other right here. That could be a third one right there. Now, it's so dark in the back that it's nondescript, but I'll just kind of fill that in for you. You can see there's something back there. This is a great picture. We have a number of individuals all standing throughout this photo, but we have these vessels here and here, possibly smaller vessels up here. And there are beings of all different sizes in these pictures. Some human-sized on up to 100 feet plus. This is a great photo. This guy standing here you see this wedge-shaped vehicle. This is taken from quite a distance, well, as a satellite photo, but from the angle we're looking at it, we're probably a good half-mile away. This thing is 75 feet long, according to Google Earth, and about 45 feet high. And a little bit closer, you can see, I'm just going to outline it here, but there's what appears to be its pilot, and is that his hat? This is a very interesting photo. This is a Buddhist monastery in Nepal, and you can see we have buildings all around it with the blue roofs. The monastery itself has this golden roof, and admittedly some of these could be buildings, but the only reason I'm showing this is because of this feature right here. It's very similar to the first picture we just saw a few pictures ago. The length is about 200 feet, and the shape is roughly the same as those other vehicles or craft that we just looked at. But it doesn't mean that some of these other things couldn't be spacecraft themselves. Now here are some of the crew and the pilots. And I said there are taller people. Well, these are some of the taller people. And don't beat me up on this, because there are larger ships and smaller ships, just like there are larger people and smaller people. But you can see we have this guy here. We have this guy here. There's their shoulders and arms, and there's some smaller guys. This guy, according to Google Earth, is 120 feet tall, just like back in here. These are some tall folks, and I will pan out so you can see a better shot. Oh, wrong way. There we go. Here he is again. Here's his co-pilot. All right, so you can get a good idea of what we're looking at. People say, well, how come they're always standing in a group? I don't know. Maybe they're warm. Maybe they're from another race of beings that we don't quite understand why they do things they do. This next photo, we're looking at the side of a mountain, and here is a large ship. This is the back of it right here. Here is the fuselage. It's about 300 feet long, surrounded by a number of smaller ships all around it, just like some sort of spaceport. There's a lot going on here. A little closer. Here we are again. Here's the back of it. It's almost like some sort of cargo ship, is what I get the feeling that it is. And here we have all our smaller ships. And if you freeze frame this, like all my videos, let your eyes adjust, you'll see it much more clearly than me kind of going through it at this speed. And one more really good side view of this. Here's the back, right here. Looks like it's opened up. Here's our front with a very streamlined profile here. Here's all our little ships all the way around. Here. Now this is a pretty fascinating area. Where that large ship was, I called that a spaceport, but this is much more of a port facility than that first one. You can see what appear to be roads in certain areas. Let me get my highlighter out. But I believe there are buildings in this area, and landing areas. But here we have what looks like a road, and right here, that's an overpass or a bridge right here, and same thing right here. But this is a major hub, and throughout here, you know, you have this almost space shuttle looking craft right here, and it's kind of hard to see, but these are small ships all parallel to each other right here, and we have more right here. And you're going to say, well, what makes you think that? You'll see in some upcoming photos how they line up in these pictures. Maybe a little larger, and you can see again what looks like a large building right here, craft here, more building facilities throughout here, and these are big. These are as big as like airport buildings. And again, craft along this ridge right here. Before we continue, I want to show you a satellite view of a mountain area first, and then we'll get back to the ships. Here we are back at the Himalayas satellite picture, and I'm just going to go to a random area and show you something. Right here is good. Let this kind of focus in a little bit. You see these mountain streams, I call them streams, some are more like rivers, but they're just about everywhere. And that makes sense, you get runoff, as you can see. Alright, let's go back to our pictures. When I first saw this, I really couldn't believe what I was seeing. Let me bring my marker up here. These guys are pretty crafty, tricky, but what's going on here is what they do, they will line up their ships in these stream beds or alongside stream beds to blend in completely, and you won't see them in a satellite view or from aircraft. It'll look just like you're looking at a stream bed or a river bed. But some of these are rather big ships, and they're all just lined up in rows that go on for miles and miles and miles in many directions. Bring this up. Again, we have these large ships, smaller ships, probably in the 50-foot range right here. This one's much larger, probably 100 feet at least. Keep going here. This is a good example right here. One more. But we just see them, and I have to get this close up. If I pull out any further, they start to blend in together. But these are distinct, separate objects that go, again, for miles and miles. And calculations, I can't make it because they're just about all over the place. Hundreds of thousands of ships, and that's at least a fairly accurate estimate, in my opinion. This is a particularly good photo in that it shows an insignia on the side of this ship right here. A little bigger. And you can see, is that a letter S? But we have quite a few markings all around it. And right behind it appears to be a little creature man of some sort. Let's go back to the first picture of those long ships that we started with. So here's where we started. I think this is some of the best evidence I've ever been fortunate enough to run across of non-human technology existing on Earth. I would like your opinions. Are they extraterrestrial? Are they interterrestrial? Is this some sort of breakaway human civilization? Or a combination of just a whole bunch of stuff? What I know, what I personally know in my own personal life is we are not alone on this planet. We're very led to believe we are alone in this vast universe. Well, that's just a big freaking lie. And in my opinion, I'm proving it right here. Why are they lying? Someone's profiting from it. Flat out. Who's profiting from it? I don't know. But it's a select, elite few that are. And it's very important that this information does not get out to the masses. Well, here you are, masses. I hope you like this video. I hope you share this video. And I hope overall you learn something from these videos. And this has been a difficult video. I say that often, but man, this one beat me up technically. And I know quite a few of you will understand what I'm saying. There is a presence sometimes that shows up and just almost makes me go to sleep. I start yawning, I get tired, and there's no reason for it. Or I lose focus, and there's no reason for it. And it just fights me while I'm making these videos. Well, okay. That's enough. I hope you're having a nice day. And I hope the giant people who are flying these ships around are also having a nice day. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, I hope you subscribe. It gets the message out there. And again, I hope you like it because that really keeps the videos up front and fresh. I'm Roger in Kansas City. I'll be talking to you soon. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.